Was Peps sagen?
Ich weiß nicht. Wieso denn?
Ah, jetzt spielt er in Norwegen.
Also,
Na dann, los geht's. Ich mach mal die Follower-Liste ein bisschen kleiner, da passiert eh nicht so viel. Ups.
Tag 1.
The water's cold.
It's a fjord. You're not going swimming.
Boo. You're such a wet blanket, teddy bear.
You know I don't like it when you call me...
Edward.
Ach, das war
Edward
doch von
Charles
Lyric.
Harden, Esquire.
Will you promise to behave on land?
Oh, ich glaube, ich mach die farbigen Untertitel wieder aus, das sieht scheiße aus.
Promise.
Piffle and phonus balonus, Teddy. You ought to know better than to ask.
Better Lyric
Yes,
mit den ganzen
I'll
Pausen,
behave.
Alter.
I'll be a proper young lady. I shan't run or climb things or laugh too loud or
Ich
call
muss die
anyone
Grafik ein bisschen
old
unterstellen.
aside from you. So, do you think we'll find your Betty in, what did you call this village? Gravewick? Grovewick?
Grovik. Yes, I do.
Why here? What's so special about Grave Oak?
She never said. But knowing my sister, something drew her here.
But how can you know?
I just do. In her letter, she wrote about...
But that's months ago. She could have gone anywhere.
Without writing, or telegraphing her editor in New York, she wouldn't do that.
Oh,
Betty's...
the cat's pajamas, the bee's knees, little Miss...
Alice, you're talking about my sister.
Fine. I'm sorry. Elizabeth Sidarb. We all love her dearly. And Teddy Bear. Edward. We will find her. Betty's fine. Why, we'll
Ach,
see
seine
her as soon as
Schwester.
we get to shore. She'll shower you with kisses and berate you for coming all this way from Hanover,
Die junge Dame hier,
Massachusetts to
oder
the
was?
middle of
Nee,
possibly
die
nowhere
Frau, die er sucht.
Scandinavia way, just to chase her
Norway.
down. Everything will be Jake, old fruit. Is that it? Is that Groovewoke?
Sie sagt
Looks
jedes
so
Mal anders.
peaceful and beautiful and so desolate.
Den Ort, ne? Meinst
Ja.
du?
Built for ghosts.
Grave Oak, Groove Oak.
Grey Walk.
Finally,
Das wird auch so übersetzt, ne? Also,
I can't do this for much longer.
Can't you row any faster? I'm getting frightfully bored.
How about you take over, Alice?
You slay me, Teddy, old bean. Was that thunder?
Still distant. The boat will be in safe harbor by the time the weather arrives.
So you say. But I say put your back into it, because we're sitting ducks out here. Quack, quack.
Die hätten nicht so grelle Farben für die Untertitel nehmen sollen.
It's so quiet. Where is everyone?
Probably working. I know it's a foreign concept to you, but that's something normal people do.
Hardy har har.
The Fretland farm is up the hill somewhere.
Up where?
I believe it's that farmhouse, all the way at the top.
Hot dog! Let's ankle!
Hold on. Let me read the letter from Mrs. Fretland first.
I'll meet
and-
you up there, old sport. I want to explore. Last one's a skunk's tail.
Wait. The ground's muddy. It's easy to slip and fall. Walk slowly and watch out for...
Don't be a wet blanket. A little mud never hurt anyone.
Fine. Just stay close.
As long as you keep up with me.
Charakternamen. Warte mal an. War ich Deutsch oder Englisch Untertitel lieber? Ah, das war Deutsch. Ups.
Dear Mr. Harton, we would like to extend an invitation to visit our home. Trouble to hear of your sister's disappearance. No news to share. You'll find our farm on top of the hill. I hope I got that right. Look forward to seeing you here in October. Yours faithfully, Anna Fretland. Well, I'm here. Where are you? Did you make it to Grovik, Betty? And why did you pick this forlorn hole under the mountains?
Oh Gott, nicht so ein Untertitel.
Also sprach Zarathustra.
Der spricht Deutsch.
Teddy, are you coming? I'm almost there.
On my way. Righto. Step to it, teddy bear. Where are you?
I'm by the farmhouse.
Oh, ist Motion Blur an. Geht das weg?
Bei Lyrics
Ah,
mir das nicht
Bewegungsunschärfe.
aufgefallen.
Bewegungsunschärfe. 0. Noir-Filter. Ja, lass mal aus. Oh, viel besser. Okay, ich glaube, hier gibt es eh nichts zu entdecken. Oh, es ist... Hier. Speed. Oh, jetzt kurz. Wieso geht das? Ja. Naja, egal. Kann ich rennen? Ich kann nicht rennen. Fuck. Ja, das haben wir ja schon bei Lyric gesehen. Das lassen wir lieber. Das laute Atmen bin nicht ich.
Ja, schon klar.
Soll ich dich eigentlich wieder leiser stellen?
Teddy, this way.
Jo, kannst du machen.
Okay. Discord. Sag mal was.
Hallo, Test 1, 2, 3.
Ah, ein bisschen leiser noch. Okay. Jetzt muss es gehen. Aber es macht natürlich Sinn, dass man nicht rennen kann, wenn er gerade hier gesagt hat, nicht rennen, ist rutschig und so. Ah, die Flagge auf Halbmast.
What took you so long?
I'm not 17.
Nor are you 70. Put some spring into your step, old sport.
Did you see the flag? It's at half-mast. Someone died.
So this is it, huh? Nice digs. But seriously, where is everyone? This is starting to creep me out.
Perhaps everyone's indoors. The rain's picking up.
You first, old bee.
Hello? Anyone there? Mr. Fretland? Mrs. Fretland? This is Edward Charles Harden, the American. We've exchanged letters.
Maybe they went on holiday and left the door open. Give it a shake and a rattle.
I can't just barge into their home.
It's not a crime if you're invited.
I'm coming in. This is Mr. Harden. Hello? Is anyone home?
This house is as empty as a bird's nest in December. Hey, you want to check out the upstairs?
Certainly not. I'm going to sit down and wait for the Fretlands.
Maybe there are extra comfortable chairs upstairs. Well, I didn't want to go upstairs anyway. It's creepy.
There must be a sitting room on this floor. This is the kitchen. Hello? Anyone there?
Oh, this is nice. Charmingly rustic. The Boston Beaumont would pay a pretty penny for this setup. I thought foreigners lived differently. This is almost like an American home.
People are people wherever you go.
Thanks, Proust. What are you looking at there?
A book.
Strange place for a book. Unless it was a terrible book that deserved a good burning. What's the title?
The cover's charred. Christmas 1922. To Ruth. From Simon. Why would someone burn this?
Like I said, maybe it was a terrible book. Is Simon one of the Freddie Landers?
I don't think so. They only have the one daughter.
Look! Family pictures. They must be the, what did you call them? It's on the tip of my tongue.
The Fretlands.
Right. Anna and John?
Johann.
This is honestly not what I'd pictured. They're very presentable. Not at all like turnip farmers.
They're not turnip farmers. That must be Johann Fretland, master of the house.
What makes you think he's the master of anything? It's 1923, Teddy, old boy. Women can vote. Wait, is that... Are they... who's... They're all twins. All of them.
That's Johann and Anna
What?
Fretland.
There are two of each, Edward.
What the fuck? Rechtsklick ist laufen.
Frederick and Margaret. Twins marrying twins.
My mind's reeling. This is just too adorable.
May 26th, 1899. We'll be celebrating their silver anniversary next year.
Johann went and found himself a
the fuck,
delectable bride.
Alice, please.
What can I say? She's a minx.
Anna Fretland is a respectable woman. Her letter was courteous and professional.
Didn't you say she was a city girl? It must have been awfully hard to adjust to life in the sticks. I can relate.
Hanover isn't the sticks.
Says you.
There's the stave church.
Do you think that's where they've all gone? Maybe there's a very popular funeral.
The flag was at half-mast, but no sign of life out there.
Where do you think they've gone?
The Fretlands.
The Fretlands, the Hansons, the Jensens, all of them.
I'm sure they'll be back soon.
It's like a dead land. As though its soul has departed.
You could see the whole village from up here.
Do you want to go sightseeing?
Tomorrow. It's getting late, and the rain's not abating. It's really coming down.
How about a quick run in the rain?
You can't be serious.
You're already a wet blanket, teddy bear. It's not like you'll get any wetter.
The books are all in English.
Isn't that a bit odd?
Mrs. Fretland is Scottish, though she grew up in Olesund.
Have you been secretly communicating with Johann's winsome wife, Edward, dearest?
Certainly not. She was the one who wrote me, because Mr. Fretland's English
I was
isn't as...
only joking. Lighten up, old sport. Don't be such a pill.
Dear Mrs. Fretland, I trust this letter finds you and your husband in good health. I wrote to inform them about when I'd be arriving. So where are they?
Do they even have calendars? Maybe they don't know what day it is.
Despite appearances, we haven't gone back in time. They have calendars. Oh, the thought of boarding that infernal ocean liner again.
I quite enjoyed it. So much room for exploration and mischief.
So many opportunities for seasickness and claustrophobia.
Don't be a Debbie Downer. I'm sure your tummy will be better behaved on the return voyage. And you'll be craving enclosed spaces after a week in this wide-open wilderness.
Home feels very far away.
Are we feeling melancholy again?
I've never been this far from Hanover.
It's about time we got you out of that dreary old house, Teddy Bear.
I asked about Elizabeth.
And they hadn't seen her?
Anna... Mrs. Fretland promised she'd write if she heard anything. There wouldn't be many female reporters from New York and Western Norway.
Why would she come here in the first place?
Betty always has her reasons.
Did you hear something?
No.
Must be the wind under the door. Or the churning sea. Or the interminable rain. Or flesh-eating ghouls waiting to pounce.
Alice, honestly.
You're the one who reads Poe to me. Don't blame me for having an active imagination. Well, those boys look proud as peacocks. What does it say there? Groovy?
Gruben. The mine.
Maybe that's where everyone is. Digging for precious jewels in the Stygian abyss.
From what I learned of this place during the brief stay in Olesund, the iron mine shut down 20 years ago. The mine was only in operation until 1902. They must have lost a fortune. An iron mine wouldn't pay itself off in 5 years.
Can we go spelunking? Perhaps we'll find trolls in the abyss, and we can steal their ill-gotten gold.
There was a cave-in. It'll be unsafe.
Oh, boo.
Frederick and Johann Fretland, founders of the Fretland Brothers Mining Company.
They're the spitting image of each other.
Twin brothers and business partners.
And they married twin sisters. Adorable. Who's the boy? He looks related to the other two.
Foreign investors out of Frederick Fretland's mining company. Dire financial consequences for Fretland, who must have had a difficult time after his brother Johann Fretland pulled out earlier this year. The timing is curious, like he knew something was about to go awry. Johann Fretland exits Fretland Brothers Mining Company.
So the brothers parted ways?
Johann sold his share to focus on farming.
That must have put a damper on their relationship.
Tragic accident befalls the Fretland Brothers Mining Company.
What happened?
The mine collapsed, killing 3 workers, including Arne Fretland, Frederick and Johann's younger brother.
That's awful. How old was he?
19.
He might be the boy in the photograph.
Operations were suspended after the accident.
That's a grim sight, old bean.
Die Fratze, Alter.
I'm exhausted. And soaked to the bone.
Let's get you to bed.
We'll wait for the Fretlands. It's only courteous. Betty.
Have you gone screwy again, Teddy? That's not Betty.
Her
That's...
scarf. I'd know it anywhere.
It doesn't look like anything to me. It
She
just
bought it in
looks like...
Bloomingdale's the Christmas before last. When she came home that year, she showed it off, dancing around the sitting room until I got dizzy watching her.
I think you're misremembering. She couldn't make it home that year. Again.
No, you're wrong. I'm sure she was there.
Whatever. It's not like you pay any attention to me when Betty's around. I might just as well be a ghost.
Look, it is her scarf. It even smells like her perfume. Shalimar.
But what if that's not...
She's here. I'm finally going to find her.
That's great, Edward, really. I wouldn't want you to get your hopes up. I mean, where's everyone gone to? Something's not right, I'm telling you. Teddy? Edward, what's wrong?
Lightheaded, that's all.
You're having another spell. You know what happens when you exert yourself. Sit down. That's an order from your commander.
Yes. Fine. I just need to catch my breath. Just for a moment.
I want you to lie down. Lie down and close your eyes. It's been a strenuous day. What with the rowing and the dragging of the suitcase up the hill.
Well, what if the Fretland...
I'll keep an eye out. I promise. If they come home, I'll wake you. Now, lie down. Close your eyes. Breathe deeply.
I'm just going to...
Shh.
Soweit so bekannt.
Ich glaube, ich kenne noch die nächsten 35, 40 Minuten, glaube ich.
Okay. Ich habe jetzt hier kurz danach abgeschaltet. Obwohl ich war jetzt...
Betty?
Also 5 Minuten oder so kann ich jetzt auch noch.
Lissy, are you here? Lissy! Hello? Hey, who's there? Betty? Elizabeth? Wait! Alice? Lissy, there's someone outside. It might be Betty. Lissy! Are you upstairs? Are you in here, Lissy? Who's out there? Hello? Betty? Lissy? I'm not alone.
Was soll das sein?
I can hear you! Who goes there? Wait! Someone there?
Hello? Are you... Betty, is that you? Elizabeth, are you there?
The boat, Edward! Where's our boat?
Lizzie. Where did you go? Why did you leave me?
It stopped raining, and you were sleeping, and... Our boat, it's gone.
The boat... What? How?
Maybe you didn't secure it properly.
I pulled it up. I don't know. I thought I tied it securely, but... Did you see Betty?
Did I see... What are you talking about?
I think... Betty... It was Betty. It was her. It must have been her. I saw her face in the window, and she vanished into the dark, towards the sea. You really didn't see anyone?
I haven't seen a single soul. Are you sure it was her? and
Yes!
Not...
I mean, I saw her face, and it looked like her.
Well, if it was her, why did she run away?
I don't know. It's getting dark. Back to the house. And tomorrow...
Tomorrow's another day, Teddy Bear. We'll figure it out. Right now, let's get you cleaned up. Look at you. You've got mud all over yourself. And then you really need to sleep. You must be exhausted. Come on.
Tag nummer 2.
I will find you again.
Teddy, come outside. It's a beautiful day.
Oh, man kann nach oben. Das ist interessant. Draugenwald.
I just about given up on you ever waking up.
I was looking around the house.
So we're okay with that now? Noted. Sleep well?
I dreamed of Betty. She was in the garden, and she called for me.
How about you, Lissy dearest? Oh, you know me, old fruit, wide awake at first light.
The Fretlands didn't come home, did they?
They did not. There's no sign of anyone. Aside from last night's Mistwalker.
I've been thinking about that.
What?
It looked like Betty. I was so sure. She wouldn't have run away. It makes no sense. Perhaps it was no one. Just the night playing tricks.
Oh, there must be someone here. And I'm not talking about ghosts. Or goats. What was it you said yesterday? Maybe they're peeking at us through the windows.
I'll take a gander. The Fretlands will be home soon. And Betty's here. I know it. I feel it.
If you say so, Teddy Bear. Have you had your noodle juice yet?
I'm not rummaging through their cupboards.
You'll be a pill without your tea and toast, old bean. We need to get you sorted.
I'm not hungry. First point on the agenda. Find the natives.
A mission! Hot dog! I'll scout ahead. I'll meet you down by those houses.
Let's uncover your secrets, Glovik.
Okay.
Lissy!
By the village houses, Teddy!
Alter, mit Wasserfall.
Up
ey.
here, Teddy. Hey, eyes up here. It's such a beautiful day. You could bottle and sell this air in Boston. It's frankly medicinal. Teddy,
It's chilly.
that's all you have to say? It's chilly?
You're not cold.
Why would I be?
Thought you were scouting ahead.
What do you think I'm doing? Vantage point, like on a pirate ship. I can probably see our house in Hanover from here.
Did you check those buildings?
Knocking on doors isn't a scout's job, old bean.
Hello?
So, ich glaube, bis
Anyone
hierhin
here?
kenne ich's.
Why, hello, Mr. American. Please come in for a cup of tea and this
Ich noch ein bisschen
You're not
weiter, glaube
helping.
ich.
Also, they drink coffee here, not tea.
Savages.
Sind wir da?
Hallo.
Hello? Who's there? Hello? Anyone home?
Heißt das Verräter?
Wahrscheinlich. Jetzt bräuchten wir aber Pepsi.
Verräter.
September 21st, 1923. Vi desperate. Lissy, found something here. Escalated from words to stones. Blood has been spilled. The curse haunts us all. There is no hope left in Gudsforlatte. Good. God. Right. In this God-forsaken place. The death of the Jiminy. Death of the children.
was the end of Grovik. Whatever remained of our souls departed with them.
You should see this, Lissy.
The letter just trails off. Was never sent. Did you see this door closing?
It was just the wind, Teddy Bear. You're as skittish as a pussycat. There's one more house. Third time's the charm.
Anyone home?
Unless they're playing hide and go seek, I'd say that's a no. 3 strikes, you're out.
I don't think anyone's been home for a while. Someone painted the word traitor on one of the doors. And there was a letter. It sounded foreboding.
Well, you were wrong. The villagers are not indoors.
I still don't understand what happened to the boat.
Why don't we investigate? Maybe it's even drifted back to shore by now.
Unlikely. But I would like to know how it got unmoored.
Well, it's a bright and beautiful day, and we have nothing better to do.
What on earth are you doing?
Handstands, Teddy! My record is 2 minutes. I'm working on 3. Just go on ahead. I'll catch up.
Gut.
July 24th. Memorial service. A commemoration of the accident at the mine this past summer. No services after that.
All these graves. What happened?
It's a cemetery.
But look at the soil. These are recent burials.
You're right.
Do you think this is where everyone's gone? Are they all...
This can't be everyone. Besides, someone had to bury the bodies.
Fair point. Well made.
Something did happen. Several people died in a short period of time.
How? An accident? A mass murder? Spanish flu?
I wouldn't want to speculate until I've learned more.
I can speculate for the both of us.
Well, Betty's not here. I'm gonna keep looking.
What about the church?
Oh. Okay. schlecht.
Why would they board up a church?
To keep the ghosts from escaping?
Lissy,
Or the goats from getting in? What does that say?
God is not here.
Well, so much for that. No wedding, no baptism, no funeral.
There must be people somewhere. Where are you going?
For constitutional. To breathe some of this salty sea air. You go on ahead. I'll find you. How about we don't go back to Hanover and stay here instead?
And how would I survive?
Hunt? Harvest? Forage? People have survived here for centuries. Why can't we?
I wouldn't even know where to begin.
I could learn. I'd start with goats. Goats can be eaten and milked. Probably not in that order. Frederick, Fretland, and son.
Johann's brother and nephew.
The Fretlands have their fingers in all the pies, including the only store in town.
Also the post office and telegraph. There may be something that'll lead us to Betty in there.
Or at least to some canned sardines. We need to get you fed, old bean.
Fretland and Son.
How do you figure?
It's on the sign above the entrance. And on this photograph. Frederick and Simon Fretland. The older gentleman is clearly Mr. Fretland's twin brother.
Twins are confusing. If this was a dime novel, they'd be switching places at some point to confuse the coppers. Damn you, twins!
Simon Fretland. Frederick's son.
And Johann's nephew. See, I'm getting the hang of this. Simon. Simon. That was the name in the burnt book. So Simon is Ruth's older cousin.
Applesauce.
Why lock any doors? I can't imagine they have a problem with punks and hoodlums.
The sign says they're closed, but I thought maybe... Hello? Are you open? Is anyone there?
Can't you just bust down the door? Locks be damned.
Breaking and entering, I will not. I'll just dislocate my shoulder.
They had a memorial service for the accident in the mine. On July 24th, in the village church.
For something that happened 20 years ago?
It still affected their lives. There's no damage to the rope.
I don't know what that means.
Nobody cut it. I guess the knot could have unraveled on its own.
Didn't you say you used a sailor's knot?
I'm a scholar, not a fisherman.
So who took our boat? A ghost? If not a ghost, then a goat? The goat's row?
I believe the tide took our boat.
If you say so. But then who were you chasing after last night? I mean, you thought it was Betty,
No.
but...
No, I don't know. It was probably all in my head. Betty would have taken plenty of constitutionals here. She loves the outdoors.
How so? She's a city girl.
I'm sure she gets tired of Manhattan. And when she was little, she loved playing in the garden back in Hanover, especially around the pond.
Are you alright?
I just miss her.
A boat! Teddy! A hot dog! This is our ticket out of here!
Not without Betty.
Alter, wie schnell ist sie immer?
Besides, the woods rotted through.
What's that?
This boat isn't seaworthy.
So eine kleine Göre ist immer richtig schnell.
The state of the boats. It's like they stopped taking care of them.
Seems short-sighted. How would they fish? Or get anywhere at all?
Oh, was hat Roderick denn da gesucht im Laptop?
What's this?
Remnants of
What?
the mining operation.
What, mine?
Remember, I told you yesterday. There was a mine here, but it closed down 20 years ago.
I know, Edward. I was just checking for a sense of humor. Still nowhere to be found.
To Min Om. It's a memorial. 3 men died when the mine collapsed in 1902. Georg Hattestad, Niels Framberg, Arne Fretland.
See, this is what working a regular job... Did you say Fretland?
The younger brother who was mentioned in the article. The newspaper said the accident forced the mine to shut down.
What does any of this have to do with us?
I still don't know why Elizabeth came here,
And you think it has something to do with this mine?
or with what it did to the village. Maybe. He was just 19.
How long had he been working in the mine? That's too young for a dirty job like digging into rock.
We're in the real world, Lissy. Most teeners don't have the luxury to idle away their days with games and witty repartee.
Ouch.
Ups.
I don't understand why they just leave this here. like an altar to adversity. It's creepy.
Rustic superstition. Perhaps they believed they'd attract bad luck if they moved it.
Matze,
What did they use this for?
wie teuer ist nochmal
Bringing the
dieses Ding,
ore
was
down
du
from
zu
the
dem
mine
Apple
before it
Pro
was loaded
Stand dann
onto
nochmal
boats.
zukaufen
So,
kannst? 120 $?
Diamonds? Gold?
1000.
Or just
Ja, nein, das
boring
ist
old
ja
silver?
der
Iron.
Pro Stand.
Or what?
Aber
Ach
da
so.
ist ja nochmal so ein
Contains
Zusatz nochmal.
Ja, über 100. 100.
Über 100.
200, 200
200
war das,
waren es,
glaube
aber das,
200.
das brauchst du nicht unbedingt dazu. Also ich weiß nicht, das ist glaube ich für was anderes. Also ich habe Bilder gesehen, da ist halt sozusagen dieser Stand direkt in dem Monitor drin. Ich weiß nicht, wofür das andere dann da ist.
You know,
Deposits
I... Okay, Edward. Where do these tracks lead?
To the mine. Where else would they go?
I don't know. A castle up in the mountains, where the frost giants live? And this is how they receive their monthly offering of meat from the villagers. Goat, I hope.
ich. Ich glaube, das andere Ding ist eine Wandhalterung.
Wahrscheinlich.
120 für eine Wandhalterung.
Ne, 200. Nicht 120.
199, stimmt.
No trespassing for traitors.
Cool.
Da packst du dann irgendwie
Wanna jump the
200,
gate and explore
200
what's on the
Euro
other
rauf und
side?
dann kriegst du richtig ordentlichen Monitor.
What do you say, old sport?
The sign says no trespassing for a reason.
Come on! There may be trolls, or at least more houses. Where's your sense of adventure, old sport? Don't you want to see where these tracks go?
They lead to the old mine, and no. I've had enough adventure on this side of the fence. Besides, they wrote no trespassing for a reason.
You're such a terrible bore, Teddy Bear. I'll wager 1,000 clams you'll jump this gate at some point, if you believe Betty's on the other side.
Frederick Fretland. Who are these traitors he refers to?
What now? We've looked everywhere.
There really doesn't seem to be anyone around.
Maybe we missed something. An important clue. How about the general store? We haven't been inside yet.
It looked deserted, but worth another look, I guess.
What if everyone turned into a pebble? And they can't speak, but they see and feel everything that happens to them.
Is that?
Fuck.
Lizzie, come here. It's Betty's hat. She was here. She could still be in there. Betty? Betty!
Are you sure, Edward? I mean, it's just a hat. Is it even a hat? I'm
I
not
know
sure.
my sister's hat, Lizzie. I have to get inside.
What about the breaking and entering part?
I could care less what they call it.
Oh. Aha.
Was denn?
Here's an open window.
You seem eager to break the law. I approve.
It won't budge.
Nah, don't be a milquetoast.
Well, it's stuck.
Attaboy, Teddy. You can do this.
I can't believe I'm actually breaking... Whoops, Daisy.
Oh my, Teddy. You're such a sap.
Dead ass.
Edward Charles Hardy, dilettante, world traveler, cat burglar.
A cat burglar would, by definition, enter a building on a higher
Jeez,
floor.
The state of this place.
Oh, Betty,
Edward,
I hope you weren't here when...
is this blood?
Not necessarily human blood.
Well, that's all right then. What does it say? Barn murder? Someone murdered a barn?
Barn means child. And mortar, that's...
Child murderer. Edward, they murdered a child?
Someone thought so.
Probably the same someone who vandalized the store.
Damnation. The hat's in here.
Calm down, old boy. Anyway, how's a hat going to help us?
Who knows what else is in here? There could be more clues.
All right. Okay. Everything's Jake. We made it into the store. I'm sure we'll find a way through that door.
These were never sent.
How long have they been piling up?
I received Mrs. Fretland's letter in June, and they received my letter from July.
Couple of months. Perhaps the world forgot about Grovik.
Out of order.
Why hasn't it been fixed?
Perhaps there wasn't much demand for it anymore.
S-O-S. Oh boy. If only this thing worked. We could order a boat to come get us. Or, even better, order some hot grub. What are you doing?
Looking for keys.
Your life of crime continues.
There's a note.
Is it written in Viking runes? What does it say?
It's from Simon.
Gute Nacht, Leute.
Means I put.
Nacht.
Knuckle is key. Casa. I don't know what that word means.
He put the key in the casa?
Casa. I wish I had my dictionary. The note's addressed to his father.
So the key was moved. But where to?
Somewhere safer. Or more convenient.
Can we really trust your translations? You only started studying a month ago.
I spent the summer reading, and I had a lot of free time on the ocean voyage.
Come on, how much could you possibly pick up in a few months?
You know my mind, it's a sponge.
Naja, spricht Deutsch, aber weiß nicht, was Kassa sein soll. Hätte er mal Österreichisch gelernt, dann wird er das wissen.
Casa.
So that's what it means. Cash register.
Kassa.
You're a genuine gangster now, old fruit. Don't worry. If you get busted, I'll come visit you in the big house. Wasn't there supposed to be a key?
Here it is.
Natürlich das Geld zuerst, Digga.
Hey, was mit dem Geld?
Sieht aus wie Monopoly-Geld.
Das ist ja schon ein paar Jährchen alt.
Ja, 20er, ne? Ja.
Why would Frederick keep a list of what he calls traitors?
What did they do to him?
Cross him in some way. Why else keep a list of undesirables?
It is her hat.
Teddy, I'm not
Betty
sure
was
that's...
here, and not long ago.
Okay, but if that is her hat, what's it doing in a locked storeroom?
Another breadcrumb.
That's not an answer.
I know for sure she was here. That's what matters.
You know best, Edward. So, what now? If this is a breadcrumb, where's the next one?
There must be a reason her hat's in this room.
What's that?
A handwritten note.
I'm not blind. What does it say, you silly goose?
It's hard to read. I'm not sure my translation will be... Johann, you... Nectar. Refuse. You refuse to speak to me, so I write this letter instead. It's from Frederick Fretland to his brother. Simon did not... Bloody hell. Simon did not murder your Ruth. He was fond of his cousin.
Ruth. Ruth is the daughter of Anna and Johann, which means the little girl in the photograph at the farmhouse. Oh, Edward. The Fretland girl was murdered. This is simply awful.
Simon was working at the farm while I tended to the store. I would have seen him had he passed on the way up to the cliffs.
They thought Simon killed Ruth. His own cousin.
Ruth was... what's that word? Playing. Ruth was always playing on the rocks below the church. She must have fallen by accident. The note ends there. Frederick never finished it. And Johann never read it. Not that it would have made a difference. If Johann
The
thought...
mob showed up for Simon. His father would have tried to protect him.
September 17th. You would have been here, Betty.
Rocks below the church. Isn't the church right above us? Edward, come look at this. That's the cliff. Right there. The one in the note? I bet you a million clams.
Where?
See for yourself.
I guess that could be where...
Let's check it out.
No, Lissy, wait.
Sie ist schon da. Alter.
This way. Teddy, up here.
Alter.
Found it, Teddy. The cliff. I'm standing right below it.
What are you doing? This doesn't concern us.
The little girl died. We're staying in her home, for God's sake. Are you completely without heart? Get yourself up here, Edward Harden, right this minute.
Whoops-a-daisy. What is this?
Where little Ruth died.
You're being morbid. And this is a distraction. I'm here for Betty, not because some girl
Edward.
got herself...
Alter, das ist noch
You
gut drauf.
insensitive brute. You're like the Tin Woodman, no heart. Please look at me when I'm talking to you. You know, you've grown cold and mean in that horrid study of yours, with only books and bugs to keep you company for years and years and years. There are other people in this world, you know. It's not all about you. You're going to do this. If not for Ruth, then for us. We're going to figure out what happened to the poor girl. Together. Is that blood?
The girl could have hit her head on that rock. There would have been plenty of blood.
That's awful. I think there's something behind it. Can you move the rock aside? It must be Ruth's.
Where's the head?
Maybe the killer also decapitates dolls.
Hold on. This is old. Very old. Looks like something from the Viking era.
We are in the land of Vikings.
This could be 1,000 years old. It does not belong in a child's doll.
Who cares? Ruth is dead and you're obsessing about a rusty old pin? Let's go further out. Maybe we'll find more clues. Come on, old sport. It's not far.
Can you wait just 1 minute so that I can catch my breath? Huh. Did you follow the same path, Betty? Or am I just stumbling through darkness?
You can see clear beyond the edge of the world. Right. It is awfully chilly.
One
Oh,
second.
Teddy Bear. We need to take you out walking more often.
So, the girl fell from up here.
Was pushed, you mean? Can you see where she fell?
If she fell headfirst on that rock, she'd have died instantly.
Edward, honestly.
You wanted to learn more. This is you learning more. She hit her head and fell into the bush where I found her doll. Happy now, Alice?
I'm not. What was she doing up here in the first place?
Playing? She was a child. Children play in dangerous places.
There must be more to it. Let's find out where this path leads.
No, absolutely not. I don't have time for this nonsense. Running out of daylight, and Betty's still... You're still out there.
Alter, sowas will ich mal in echt sehen. Muss unbedingt mal nach Norwegen.
Das wird niemals so aussehen.
Ja, das ist es ja gerade, in echt sieht's halt
Aber
aus.
da gibt es aber
Slow
so
down.
Orte, die sehen
keep up
wirklich
with
so
you.
aus, ne?
Ja, eben. Also es
Who
ist
knows what's up there? It's not worth the
dieses
risk
ruhige
of
Wasser,
falling and
links und rechts hohe
breaking
Berge.
something.
Links und rechts.
Lissy, are you there?
Okay, er ist fertig. Links und rechts steile Berge.
Gibt's auf jeden Fall in Amerika.
Ja, in Norwegen halt auch. Und
Ja, stimmt.
dadurch mal so mit Kajak oder so fahren, boah, das wäre top.
Das Geile in Skandinavien ist, du kannst da überall campen in der Wildnis, ne?
Ah. Ja, ich will das unbedingt mal machen. Also vielleicht nicht
Das
unbedingt
darf man-
campen, aber auf jeden Fall mal mit dem Boot durch die Dinger fahren.
Ich finde das deren Gesetz voll geil, dass du da überall in der Wildnis campen kannst. Also einfach zelten kannst.
Ja.
Warum das nicht irgendwie bei uns auch noch ein bisschen bald? Ich weiß nicht.
Hättest du Bock drauf?
Oh, das können wir mal planen, aber das muss dann ordentlich geplant werden. Ich mag nicht so half-ass.
Teddy,
Meinst du nur campen oder
Oh,
einfach
shit.
noch Feuerchen und so machen?
Look away, Lissy.
Was meinst du?
is this what happened to the
Meinst du wegen
villagers?
Feuer machen oder einfach nur campen?
They
Nee, einfach zelten in der Wildnis.
It's
Wildnis.
one body.
Oder nicht, oder was?
Let's not jump to
Nicht überall,
conclusions.
ne?
What about those fresh
Nee.
graves at the
Nee.
church? There were at least
das von den
half a
Feuerchen
dozen of them. Did everyone just
Feuerchen.
die?
They're not necessarily
Oh,
connected.
come on.
Langweilig.
This is just
What?
ghastly. What made him do this? How long has he been?
From the state of the body, perhaps a couple of weeks. Depends on temperature and humidity, of course.
Hä, zeig mir nochmal die gleich.
What does that say?
God forgive me.
Don't suicides go to hell? Isn't that what your father said when
Stop.
your mother drowned
Don't.
herself? Sorry.
Kein Schamgefühl, Alter.
Who was he? One of the Fretlanders?
It's not Johann or
Alter.
Frederick. And he's too old to be Simon.
Do you think this has something to do with Ruth? Maybe she came across the hanged man before she died, and it scared her. So she ran, and
This happened later.
there's some consolation in that, I guess. Maybe it's the killer. The guilt ate him up, and he offed himself.
That's just speculation with no basis in fact.
There's nothing more to do here. I'm going back. Let the poor soul rest in peace.
Does it look like he's resting in peace? You're just going to leave him hanging? You're an insensitive brute.
I'm here for Betty. This is... it's tragic, but really none of my concern.
Betty, Betty, Betty. Always just Betty. You don't care about anyone else. What if that was me up there? Would you care then? All you do is obsess over a scarf and a hat and ugh.
It's all I have of Betty.
Betty, there she is again. Edward, the hanged man, he's someone. Look at me when I'm talking to you. All right. Edward, the hanged man, he's someone. No matter what he did or didn't do, he deserves respect. Would you please just do this one decent deed? If not for me, then for yourself. Or for your Betty. What are you doing? You can't just pull him down by his legs. Try loosening the noose.
I can't reach that far. I'm going to be sick. I can't do this.
Yes, you can. Teddy. Edward. I know you can. You've been through much worse. Where are the Fretlands, Edward?
It's been 2 days. If they're not back tonight,
They're not coming back.
perhaps they left after their daughter died.
Was murdered, you mean? Isn't that what we think happened? Penny for your thoughts?
She was probably murdered.
And you think Simon did it?
Your guess is as good as mine. It could have been an accident.
You're really not helping.
Can we talk about this tomorrow? I'm sorry.
You're exhausted.
I buried a corpse today, Alice.
I know. I'm sorry. Why don't you sleep in the guest bedroom?
The couch is fine. The Fretlands could still come home.
All right. Just don't come crying to me if you wake up with a crick in your neck. I'll be up for a while, if you feel like talking. What did you find?
Someone tried to burn this.
Just like the book. Isn't that odd?
It's addressed to Mrs. Fretland. My dearest Anna. It's from her sister, Margaret. Frederick's wife. The two brothers married sisters, remember?
Yes. And it's adorable. Keep reading.
I really shouldn't.
Really? How else are we going to figure out what happened? Keep reading.
My dearest Anna, I miss you so very, very much. The baby is due soon, and I wish for our family to reunite before... It's been 7 years since the dreadful incident at the mine. Can we not convince Frederick and Johann to forgive and forget? I know there are things Frederick has not told me about what they found and why they parted ways. Their grudge is tearing us all apart. Frederick won't even let me speak to half of our neighbors, accusing them of treason. He's so very angry and full of regrets. It's eating him up. And we...
And we what?
The rest is unreadable.
Margaret reached out to her sister, but I guess it didn't work.
This was written before Simon was born, but burned recently.
Hmm. So.
I almost forgot putting this aside when I lit the fire. Wasn't there an inscription inside?
Simon. Simon gave that book to Ruth. But who burned it?
Johann or Anna, if they believed Simon killed her.
But they were friendly, right? Simon and Ruth. Before...
I imagine so. And we know the sisters were close.
I still don't understand why the brothers had a falling out.
Whatever drove a wedge between them, it was big.
Do you think Simon killed Ruth?
It's not important what I think.
I don't know what to believe. Sometimes children do monstrous things. Now that we know what happened to Ruth, this empty house is even spookier.
It's a house, nothing more.
You know better than most that souls can linger. Especially if they died
There's
in
no such thing as a soul.
life force, ghost, whatever. You know exactly what I'm talking about,
The only ghosts are in our minds.
says you. It's almost painful to look at this photograph now. Their whole world fell apart. Ugh, I can't bear to think about it. What are you doing?
Betty will want these back.
I don't think it's healthy
Not now,
to...
please. I'm exhausted.
Quite the day, huh?
I'm ready to pass out. Where will you sleep?
I'll be up for a while. My mind's simply racing.
Don't stay up late. Wake me if you hear the Fretlands arriving.
Of course. And I'll keep my eyes open for any ghosts that might want to haunt you in your sleep.
There are no...
Hush now. Sleep.
Lissy!
Upstairs! Teddy? Is that you?
This is her room.
Hmm?
Are you paying attention? Ruth. Can you imagine? One moment you're living a perfectly happy life, and then nothing. Darkness. Forever and ever. Maybe there's something here that can tell us what happened to her.
This is a waste of my time.
We might be the only ones left to tell her story, Edward.
You're just being melodramatic. I'll help you look. Draugen.
Hey, the undead monster from those folk tales you read.
What an odd book for a child to have.
I don't know. Children love scary stories. This looks interesting. Read some of it to me, please.
In Norwegian folklore, the appearance of Draugen, the reanimated corpse of a drowned mariner, heralds death. Draugen haunts the black seas in a shattered boat. The beast has a man's body and wears a sou'wester, but instead of a head, there is tangled seaweed, and the revenant's chilling cry freezes mortal blood to ice. Draugen has the power to enter the dreams of the living. If you wake from such a dream, you have been spared, though someone close to you... That's enough of that. It's nonsense, of course. Not something a child should be reading.
Do you think Draugen took our boat? Maybe he's out there, on the fjord, waiting for nightfall so he can return to shore.
No.
And... Your soul lacks poetry, Edward Charles Harden. I pity you. Ruth was an artist.
This is very primitive.
Have you ever met a child, Edward? She wasn't Monet. She was 8. She found something.
Where's that supposed to be?
A cave. Or the...
Mine. It could be. But what did she find?
Something important enough to draw. This must be the village church. That's Ruth and her family on one side of the aisle. Simon and his father on the other.
A community divided.
She made her bed that morning. Before she...
Or her parents did. It doesn't matter. It tells us nothing.
Why are you like this today? Betty's not the only person in the world that matters.
She matters the most to me.
Ain't that the truth? Ruth never finished this. What does that spell? F-O-R-B.
For Banelson. The curse.
Who's that figure supposed to be? It's creepy. It looks a bit like the Draugen in her book.
A figment of her imagination. But the box she drew... It looks like this box under her desk.
Really? Let me see. Pull it out. What is this?
I believe this might qualify as actual treasure.
Is that Norwegian money?
Sort of, but ancient. Viking coins.
Are they valuable?
Not in terms of monetary value, but historically. They belong in a museum.
Looks like Ruth had her own private museum.
Why would a child have these artifacts?
She must have enjoyed collecting and playing with them.
These are much too precious to play with. She should have given these to an adult.
She was a child, Edward. To her, they were just shiny toys. Wait! The pin! On the doll!
This is where it came from. Her collection.
But where did she find these treasures?
If we're to believe her drawing, perhaps the mine. She may have found a gravesite.
Wherever she found them, she wanted to keep them hidden.
You think someone found out?
These items wouldn't necessarily be worth much, except to a historian or archaeologist.
What if this is how... I mean, if someone learned she'd been collecting treasures, they might be willing to do terrible things.
There's still no sign of the Fretlands.
Maybe they left town after Ruth died.
What's the point of this? I should be looking for Betty.
I hate you sometimes.
Ich komme hier nicht raus.
What am I looking for?
Anything out of the ordinary. Something that could explain what happened to Ruth.
This is real life, not a whodunit by Agatha Christie. There won't be a convenient series of clues leading to a tidy conclusion.
Says you. That must be Ruth and Simon's fathers.
Perhaps. They weren't on the best of terms.
They look like they want to kill each other.
To a child, maybe it looked worse than it was.
Children are more insightful than you give them credit for, Teddy Bear. There's a story here. The treasure box, the drawings.
The overactive mind of an imaginative child.
Well, she didn't imagine the Viking artifacts. You shouldn't be so dismissive. The drawings could be her way of dealing with traumatic
This
events.
is what happens when I read you the principles of psychology. You get notions.
You say that like it's a bad thing. Ruth was troubled. The village was troubled, and... Is that a bell?
Church bell. Someone's here. Maybe Betty.
Why would Betty ring the church bell?
Perhaps she's in trouble. I need to get to the church right now.
Wait, isn't it more likely to be the person you saw the other night? We should be careful.
I told you, I'm not sure that was anything. Come on.
Go ahead. I'll catch up with you before you get there. I need a minute to think about all of this.
bond.
God, Edward. Your obsession with her is really starting to grate.
No one's touched these since yesterday. Regardless of how they got past the boards, there's someone in there.
Gone fishing?
God is not here.
Well, of course he isn't. You won't find God in a church. God is the wind in the trees, the grass between your toes, the brook that runs
That's
through.
nature, not God.
Who did this?
Someone who'd lost their faith.
Can you peek through the boards? See anyone?
No,
Listen! The bell! They're still in there!
Hello? I heard the bell.
This is giving me
I'm
the
here to help.
heebie-jeebies.
These boards look flimsy enough to break.
Look at that. The Ethel becomes an Edward. I didn't think you had it in you, old fruit.
Be quiet. Betty? Are you here? Hello? This is Edward Harden. I'm looking for my sister,
Stop
Elizabeth.
shouting, Edward. We're alone. There are only ghosts here.
There are
What's this rope for?
the bell. Lissy, look. Betty's gloves.
This is the bell we heard ringing?
I don't see any other bells.
So you have to stand here and pull this rope to ring it.
Yes.
But there was no one here. You didn't see anyone, right?
No. No one.
Ghosts. I'm telling you, it's ghosts. So what happened to the hunchback of Grovik?
They must be here still. There's only the one exit.
Maybe it was the wind.
A church bell's too heavy. It can't have been the wind. I mean... I don't know. Maybe it was the wind. There's no one here. They are definitely Betty's.
Oh, for
She got
Pete's
these
sake.
in Boston before she left for New York. She bought them at Woolworth. I remember the day she... She's here.
Where? And why would she leave her clothes lying around? It doesn't make
Breadcrumbs.
sense.
She's sending me a message. She knew I'd recognize her gloves. Her hat. She's left a trail for me to follow, like Ariadne's red thread.
We're not in a labyrinth.
Betty will have left more crumbs.
Betty, you're turning into such a pill.
What?
What's that?
The last sermon that was held here.
What does it say?
The vicar's handwriting is hard to decipher, and the language. He talks about the village being divided for 20 years. This sermon was held on the anniversary of the accident this past summer. He's asking the congregation to help heal old wounds, to forgive, move on. Something to the effect of, you sit in separate aisles in God's house.
Like Ruth's drawing. I told you, she was perceptive.
Till varandra.
Edward?
Forgive each other. It addresses Johann and Frederick directly. But I wonder if they were even here.
Remember the wedding picture? They were close friends once. How could they allow their grudge to escalate until...
You call each other traitors, but the only thing you've betrayed are the bonds that unite us. It sounds like Grovik was split in two, between those who stood by Johann and those who supported Frederick.
Because of Ruth?
The sermon is from before that. No, this is all about the preceding 20 years of division and disagreements. Here's something else. Many of you believe Grovik was cursed 20 years ago. God has not cursed you. This curse is of your own making.
Ruth's drawing mentioned a curse. What do you think that means?
It means they believed they were cursed, and that they needed something or someone to blame for their misfortune.
What happened here?
What are you doing? We're in a church.
Thought you didn't believe in God.
I do believe in civility.
What the fuck? Aber guckst noch zu?
Jo.
The church book, a record of births and deaths.
So we can find out what happened to the people in the village?
And Elizabeth. I mean, if she was dead,
Her name would be in the book.
vandals tore it to pieces.
I don't think the missing pages left the church. Look. How many pages are missing?
I counted 4.
They're probably all still here. I know. Let's make it a competition. 1-0 to Team Me. I wanted you to find that one. I know what a rotten loser you are.
Jesus.
Jesus looks sad.
What reason would Jesus have to be happy?
Don't be blasphemous,
Given that this is all fiction, blasphemy is a contradiction.
heretic. The final dinner.
The Last Supper. Who taught you about the New Testament?
I pick up on things. Most folks aren't heathens, like you.
What the fuck macht die da?
They considered this a sacred place. For them to destroy it. This was an act of desperation and anger.
I've never seen you read the Bible before.
I've read the Bible many times. It's an important historical document. For he is our peace, who hath made both one, and hath broken down the middle wall of partition between us.
Did you just translate that into Old English?
I happen to know the verse by heart.
You still manage to surprise me sometimes. Found another one. You get it. It's right here. Just one more page missing.
Oh, da stehen ein paar mehr drauf.
Two for two. A tie. Good job, Teddy.
Stop,
Old bean.
Lissy. This is not a game. Betty's out there.
Of horse feathers. Stop being so gosh darn tedious, Edward. Betty, Betty, Betty. Will you ever shut up about your precious Betty? Put those pages back in the book, and I'll stop trying to cheer you up.
Wenn wir mit der
This
Küche
book
durch sind,
goes
mach ich
back
Schluss, ne?
years. It
Alles
lists
klar.
births and deaths. Here's the 3rd Fretland brother. The one who died in a cave-in. Someone added the word for Banelson, probably quite recently.
What does that mean again?
Curse. That word is all over this book. Not just the men who died in the mine, but other deaths in the last 20 years.
Ruth's drawing and the sermon both mentioned a curse. What do you think it means?
I don't know. There were surprisingly few births.
Perhaps they blame that on the curse as well.
here. Ruth Elsa Fretland. She was buried in the cemetery. And the next entry, Simon Fretland. Now this is interesting.
Simon is dead? Oh, that's dreadful.
He drowned the day after Ruth died. Probably no coincidence. See what's scribbled next to it?
Mord?
Murder.
Who killed him? Ruth's father? Or the mob that trashed the store?
It doesn't say. After the children, a half-dozen deaths in a single week.
The curse.
It's listed as the cause for every single death.
Maybe there really was a curse.
Primitive superstition. But something changed after Ruth and Simon. It might explain why there's no one around.
Edward, if it killed everyone, how's that not a curse? What does that word say? Next to those names at the bottom. For a
Traitor.
Edward? What's wrong?
The final entry. There's no name. Alice, what if...
Oh, Edward, no.
Betty,
It doesn't mean she's...
she's not dead. She can't be. I'd know. I'd know.
Teddy.
I need to see the grave for myself. It's not Betty. Betty's still alive.
Teddy? Where are you going? Don't leave me! Edward!
You better not be here, Betty. I'll never forgive you. Where is it? This one. It's unmarked.
What are you doing? Have you gone completely mad? Edward, stop it!
Thank God. It's not her. It's not Betty. It's not her.
Oh, Edward. What have you done?
It's not Elizabeth. I was so afraid.
You're a monster.
But I had to be sure. If Betty...
To hell with your Betty! When did she ever shed a tear for you?
Don't talk about my baby sister like
Or
that.
what? Or what, Edward? What will you do? Ignore us? Banish us? You've spent your entire life chasing her.
Was?
When are you going to do something useful with what's left of her?
Twist.
Quiet! Just leave me be.
Fine.
Ich wusste es.
See? Alice? Come back. Don't leave me alone.
Weil sie so schnell war,
Please.
ja.
Come back. I
Ja, auch weil sie nie
need
was
you.
angerührt hat. Nie geschlafen hat.
Hm.
Hatte schon den Verdacht, aber ja. Gut. Ja, ich würde sagen, das ist ein guter Moment, um aufzuhören, ne?
Jo.
I was afraid you'd left me.
Gut. Ich hoffe mal, da war jetzt ein Checkpoint. Egal.
Den Tag hier mal
Na dann.